Roofers, contractors, and every home service company might be the most important niche for your AI agency. These guys are literally the people that A, need this system the most, and B, are probably going to be slightly more difficult than others to sell to. And that's just because most people are approaching it the wrong way. They're trying to tell them that they're going to take their jobs, they're going to replace their employees, who are likely their friends or their cousins, right? They're going to tell them all of these things, but what it actually does, if you learn how to truly speak to these people, is to be able to enhance their current business, to fill the gaps, to plug the holes that are there right now, meaning the calls they're missing simply because they can't be there 24/7, the leads they're not calling because they don't have a sales team to be able to follow up with them all the time. That's what AI can do, and we have people inside the GSD and Thinker right now selling voice AI systems to businesses like this for anywhere from $5,000 to $30,000+ upfront, $500 to multi-$1,000 per month. And we have home service companies, contractors, roofers making a lot of money. A roofer just made over $150,000, 19 brand new closed deals, all just from plugging in an AI receptionist so they stop missing calls while on the job.
Hi, this is Julia from Cool Comfort HVAC. We noticed you expressed interest in improving your home's comfort and energy efficiency.
These are the problems and the size of the solutions that we can provide. So if you want to know all about that, how to do that, we just did a free training where my business partner Rahul sat down and showed you exactly how you can talk to, pitch to, and properly sell these systems to these companies. And I sat down and then built out a solution for you guys so you can see exactly how to make an AI receptionist, exactly how to make an outbound AI sales rep that qualifies the person based on their questions and their answers, books the call, live transfers directly to people, answers all the questions they have about the business, all for you to enhance that company. So without further ado, let's jump over into that training so that you can see how we made that happen. And if you like this, as always, please smash that subscribe button, drop some comments and takeaways down in below the video so that I know people are watching this. I know it's worth it to keep shooting these, and I know which ones you guys like the most. Without further ado, let's head over and get shit done. I'll see you in there.
I'm just going to make up something right now and you can transcribe it, because anytime I say something, I'm never operating off like words on a script. I'm operating off of, I need to be able to get the attention of their ears. They don't hang up on me. All they're there to do is answer a business line to say, are you a customer that I can already service and answer questions? Or are you a potential new lead where I can sell you shit or direct you to the salespeople, right? So those are the gatekeepers, the receptionists, or the business owners oftentimes open it up. So if I was just cold calling a home service industry, whether it's HVAC, roofer, solar, whatever, I'll just do a quick little intro. And I'm just going to use Cody as my partner here. You don't have to reply Cody or role play. I'm just going to kind of do a self role play. And you guys tell me what you think about this opener or this hook. So I'm going to call an HVAC company, is in this pseudo example. And I'm just going to pick up, I'll just go ring, and I'll say, hey, Cody, nice to meet you, man. It's Rahul. We haven't met yet. How's your day going? And they ask me, oh, day's good. I'm out. And they ask me how I'm doing. I'll say, you know what? I'm sweating balls over here. It's super hot. Anyways, the reason I was giving you a call is I've worked with a lot of people in your industry. I do a lot of voice AI stuff, and AI is everywhere. Can I just give you a free demo just to take a look at it? Because the last people we worked with, they made a couple $100,000 off their old database. So I can run a trash to cash campaign, meaning your old leads that you're never going to call. I can have them all call from my AI employees and just book them on your calendar. Would you be against just seeing the demo to see if this is something that can actually do the same result for you? Would you continue the conversation with a yes or no on the call or in the chat? And I don't care. You don't have to say yes. You can say no. I don't really give a shit. It's not going to hurt my feelings, because welcome to pivoting in life. If I'm getting 10 hangups in a row saying, I hate you, you suck, don't call my line again, cool. I rejigger the intro. It's not going to get me frustrated. It's not going to hurt my feelings, because all I'm mentally prepared is I'm interrupting their day and they deserve to bark me out of the room. And if they don't, that means two things. Number one, they're interested. But number two, it's quite concerning that you have time to talk to a cold caller. That means you don't have enough business. That means you're on the phone with me trying to sell you shit when you're not even on the phone with your own leads. That just goes to show that you are the owner of your own business. You're unwilling to call your own gold. Like we don't need, like the San Francisco 49ers are from the gold rush. And if you have your own Gold Rush in your database and you're still denying yourself from your own revenue. Let us do it. Let's partner up. Let's saddle up and do it together. We can call the leads, we'll have some fun, put some scripts together, and we have unlimited opportunities to call these leads as many times as we want. So if entrepreneurs that own businesses, and this may be you, if you're thinking this in your head, tomorrow's the day I'm going to call the whole database, and tomorrow comes and you don't do it, and it's Monday's the next day, and Monday you don't do it, then you do 3 calls and you're so proud of yourself, but you told yourself you're going to call 50 people and you didn't, and they're in your database. What are we doing? We're basically saying, hey, I want to call those leads. I'm unwilling to call those leads. I can't complain about money now because I'm not doing the activity, right? Let the AI do it. Let the AI do it. Right? Because and you guys can leverage some of the case studies, whoever's using Thinker's platform on the blog page, there's case studies where we've run a reactivation campaign to people's leads. And we had a story, I was witness to it because I did the interview myself, but it's one of my favorite ones because it was my very first spotlight interview with one of our clients late last year around December. And he had a client that was canceling his $1,000 a month marketing fee and then the ad spends on top. And they have 190 clients, so they don't give a shit if somebody goes or comes on. They would rather keep people on, obviously, to increase lifetime value. But one of the clients was like, I want to cancel. And then they said, you know what? Let us just launch this for free for you to run a campaign. We called 1,300 leads, 113 appointments booked, $339,000 in cash. So that's why I say in your database, there's fucking gold. That's why to you, it's trash because you're completely not going to do anything with it, but I can turn that into cash. That's why it has a nice little ring to the rhyme. So you just use it as you may when you're speaking to people. What do I do for a living? I turn trash into cash. Well, what do? Go collect people's junk out of their garage? No, I clean up the database so I can take people who have opted in any amount of time, have my system automate the conversions so it gets booked appointments for salespeople to close. So essentially, you have trash in the database because nobody's touching it, or it has a shitty automation or long-term nurture that nobody's touched in 3 or 4 years with outdated content, but nobody's doing the work. We can now take that out, implant our voice AI systems, and call all of them. Now, there's a couple things that can go through your mind here. Number one, how do I price it? Number two, should I give it away for free for a trial, etc.? The answer is it doesn't matter. Like if I was working with a roofer and I liked them and they were willing to kind of be transparent with their QuickBooks or their credit card processing and make me a viewer, I would just say, hey, look, if you have 10,000 leads or 5,000 leads in the database where it's a high volume, I might even say, look, I'm going to just do this thing for free. So I'm going to be almost like an intern. But then when somebody converts, I want to be the highest paid person in your company. Profits 50-50. Would you be open for that? If I brought a lead that bought roofing, they spent 20K, your cost is 60%, that 40% remainder, you keep half, I keep half. Is that an option for you guys to just think creatively? When people say, I don't want to pay your 500, you can flip it into results basis. But then you'd have to have the transparency to be able to track things and the balls to send an invoice so they actually pay you. Right? Make sense there? Okay. Now, who here has seen me I'm going to do the demo again, but who's seen me kind of share my screen where I talk to Ava and just interact when I'm presenting with people? Now, it's going to be very similar, but the words never come out of my mouth the same. But it's going to be all the same exact context. I'm just going to go to the landing page really quick to the website. And mind you, when you're doing demos, to double up so it's not only presenting to a client, but also it could be real-time content that you can publish on your platforms, whether it's LinkedIn, email blast, YouTube, whatever. You can actually document and not create content. So right now I'm recording this. I can clip this part out, throw it on a TikTok or a YouTube video, etc. So not only am I helping you guys, but then I can make it scalable by just throwing it out there, and any amount of traffic can stumble upon it, whether I optimize it so it's intentional reach, or if I just publish it with shitty descriptions, then it's accidental reach. But the point is, it's now an asset of value sitting in the world that could be found. And then if somebody says, what does your system do? I can just say, oh, you know what? Rather than wasting my time or using my time to talk to you one-on-one, let me just give you the video. And then if you want it, then book the call. rather than book the call blindly without knowing what the heck we do, interrogating me as if I owe you something and presenting it one to one and one to one and one to one. But if they see the video and they still book with you, your probability of close could be a one call close right there. So that's just one thing to be mindful of is the reusability of the content that you already do. So here goes. The example is going to be the roofer. Okay. So I'm talking to home services.
Hi there. I'm Ava from Thinker. It's great to connect with you. What's your name?
My name is Rahul, and I'm on a Zoom call demonstrating you to my friend Cody, who's very interested in voice AI. I have a couple questions for you. Can I ask them right now?
Hi, Rahul. It's great to meet you, and hello to Cody as well. I'd be happy to answer your questions. Fire away.
Got it. Thank you. So Cody has this roofing business and it's absolutely phenomenal. It's incredible. He's been very successful through the years. Times are starting to change. We're obviously in the world of AI. He has about 5,000 or so leads in the database. His sales team is so busy constantly dealing with all the new traffic and all the new leads that they're forgetting to call all the other 5,000. And he feels that there's actually a lot of dollars in there. There's could be hundreds of thousands of dollars to millions of dollars. And it's kind of burning a hole in his marketing budget because they can't scale because they're afraid if they scale, they can't constantly follow up. Could you call all of those leads, qualify them, book them, or live transfer them during office hours so that they're not losing so much money month over month, day over day?
Rahul, that's such a great question, and Cody's situation is exactly the kind of challenge we love to solve. The Ava platform is designed to handle exactly this kind of lead reactivation and follow-up at scale. Here's how we can help Cody. 1. Lead outreach and qualification. Ava can call all 5,000 leads in Cody's database, engage them in natural conversations, and qualify them based on his specific criteria. 2. Appointment booking. Once a lead is qualified, Ava can schedule appointments directly into Cody's team's calendar, saving them time and ensuring no opportunity is missed. 3. Live transfers. During office hours, Ava can even live transfer hot leads directly to Cody's sales team so they can focus on closing deals instead of chasing leads. 4. Scalability. Since Ava is fully automated, Cody can scale his marketing efforts without worrying about overwhelming his sales team. This way, Cody can unlock the hidden revenue in his database while keeping his team focused on high-value tasks. Does this sound like the kind of solution Cody's looking for? I'd love to dive deeper into how we can tailor this for his roofing business.
Yeah, and that's great. That's one aspect of it because, yeah, there's gold in the database that we're losing, I think millions, and Cody can correct me if I'm wrong. But the other aspect is this. After hours is our kryptonite. We're not able to answer the calls because we go home at 6 and then we're back in the office at 9 and no one's there to forward the lines to their phone number and nobody's answering it. So my fear is that all these leads could be calling us, they hang up, don't leave a voice message, and then go to number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on Google, and my competitors are mopping it up, and we're losing out on more revenue. Can you live answer these calls as well, qualify and transfer?
Rahul, you're absolutely right. After hours calls can be a huge missed opportunity. And it sounds like Cody's roofing business is leaving money on the table there too. The good news? Ava's got this covered as well. Here's how we can help with after hours calls. 1. 24/7 virtual receptionist. Ava can act as Cody's round-the-clock receptionist, answering every call of an after hours so no lead ever gets missed. 2. Call qualification. Ava can engage callers in real time, qualify them based on Cody's criteria, and ensure they're the right fit for his business. 3. Live transfers during office hours. If a call comes in after hours, Ava can schedule a follow-up or transfer the lead to Cody's team first thing in the morning. During office hours, Ava can live transfer calls directly to his team. 4. Notifications. Ava can send timely notifications about missed calls or qualified leads, so Cody's team is always in the loop. This way, Cody can stop worrying about losing leads to competitors and focus on growing his business. Ava ensures every call is answered, every lead is nurtured, and no opportunity slips through the cracks.
Nice.
Does this sound?
Yeah, no, that does sound like a good idea. So I'll talk to Cody about that if he's on board. If we want to solve the revenue leak, we will. We won't even go over customer service. I'll talk to him separately about that because I'm about to end you. But before I do, can you tell me a funny joke about roofers?
Of course, Rahul. Here's one for you and Cody. Why did the roofer go to therapy? Because he had too many layers to deal with. Hope that gave you a chuckle.
No,
Let me know
that
if you
sucked.
or
No, that one sucked. End me with a better joke than that.
All right, Rahul, let me redeem myself with this one. Why did the roofer bring a ladder to the bar? Because he heard the drinks were on the house. Better? I hope
Much
that
better.
one lands.
That
Let me know.
was much better. Thank you very much. Okay, so there you have it. We like to have fun, and also I'm able to sit there. I let the whole thing go. I get when I'm doing demonstrations for people. Sometimes I actually end and interrupt quicker because I keep doing this over and over and over. But I have to be patient so the audience can hear it. So I don't ever stop it in the middle. Like while it was going, I was literally booking a flight to Denver, Colorado. So Ava gave me 3 minutes to do that. so so we could do the presentations, and if you wanted to, I don't advise it, but you can multitask. I just have done this so many times. But my point being is this: that just did the heavy lifting. I'm not the star of the show. Ava's the star of the show. Ava's the one charging the fee. I'm here to consult you to say buy this thing. Do you want to make hundreds of thousands of dollars from your existing database that you already bought? You bought these leads. You're already paying your sales team, but they're not monetizing these leads. Do you want that revenue back or do you not want it back is the real question. Okay, makes sense there? Is that because I want to keep this super, super simple. Do you guys think you can take this and do the exact demo with those three very long or two long-winded questions plus an icebreaker question at the end with the joke? You don't have to use my words, use your own accents, use your own culture. It doesn't have anything to do with just the way I said it. It has everything the way you guys execute it. Yeah, so it's super simple. I just like to have fun. That's it. My demonstration is over. That same demonstration has got us a very large insurance group to work with us. It's got us a very large software company that does over $50 million a year. Same exact question stack, same exact demonstration. That is it. Right, and these were more like larger pricing. It's not the productized pricing. Some of them are going to be like over by the end of the year. Some of these will be like 30 grand with all their usage and all the departments we work with. Others will be smaller, like $15,000 builds plus the license fee and usage. So there's real economics behind it. But on a one-off basis, if I sold one or you sold one for 15 grand, that's not good enough for the 12 months we have to survive in. We have to repeat that process. So I kind of do math once I understand who my ideal client is. So if I'm dealing with, let's say, more wealthy of an audience, my pricing might be a little bit higher so I can work more intimately and a little bit with less people. So if I'm going for a higher tier ideal client profile and I already have that in my network, then I would start with higher ticket because I can always go down from there. It doesn't really matter if I want to get into every local business. That's perfectly fine. I just have to be aware of price sensitivity and adaptability because AI is still a little new to like a 7-year-old business owner. So we just have to keep it as simple as what I just did there and always compare to things that they already understand and are associated with. So if somebody's intimidated by AI and they're still on a call with me or you, then I want to make sure that they're comfortable with AI. Have you ever heard, and I'll say things like this, have you ever heard of ChatGPT? If they have not, I move on. If they have, I'm like, cool, when was the last time you used it? Chances are they could have used it last night or today. And I'm like, perfect. Just like how easy it is to download and use ChatGPT, let me show you how we can make it a little bit more advanced with the exact same simplicity and make it talk. Is that cool with you? So now I'm just associating it back to something they already know, right? Because I don't want them to get in the call and be like, oh, this is overwhelming. AI is so far advanced. I want them to know you're already an expert just by that simple question alone. Make sense? Yeah, because I don't want to do a 45-minute call and be like, oh, it's too overwhelming. It's too much. Da 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 da. That's just bullshit. We got to get that stuff out of the way earlier. The second thing is the web widget. That's my presentation. That's going to be, if you guys ever get on a call with me, you're going to see that exact same thing over and over and over and over again. I'm going to use this same exact format over and over until it stops working. So presumably for the rest of 2025, those are my top 3 questions. The only way I'll ever pivot the questions is if some information was given to me by the customer leading up before I share my screen. Yeah, it definitely blows a deck away, right? Because like there's nothing as a buyer of software, there's nothing better than seeing a salesperson bring up a deck right when they share their screen on a deck. No longer is it interactive. I get to multitask and check my email and aha them to death because I'm not paying attention to that shit. But when I force interactivity, and they've never seen something like this before, they're going to be so like immersed into the conversation with me. Yeah, and seeing is believing. And one of the easiest, simplest things, instead of like maybe overcomplicating things, like when we do, like I call it the iOS, and every you guys can too. It's what's called inbound, outbound smart web. But if I'm positioning this to local businesses, dentists, lawyers, restaurants, whatever, if they're intimidated by like, I don't want to replace my whole phone system. What is it going to say? Blah, 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 blah. All that stuff is all fair and dandy, right? But if I go in with the angle of saying, why not give your website a voice just like your receptionist has? Because that's the very first touch point. Why not engage them right there so when they do call, they're more probable to actually buy versus just inquire? So I can just ask a why question. And what am I going to sell them if I ask that question? Anybody know the answer to that? Or what am I going to offer, not sell them? They haven't bought anything yet or present to them.
Are you in that situation? Are you just seeing what their need is, and then based on their need, you're matching it to what their need is?
No, I'm confusing them and also creating curiosity so they ask me more questions back. So if I just met you for the very first time, Kathy, and we're just sitting next to each other, I'm like, hey, what do you do for a living, Kathy? You're like, oh, I'm a dentist. I'm like, oh, awesome. In Studio City or where? Because we're at LAX. I'm just making a conversation up. And you say, whatever. Oh, yeah, I'm in LA too. I'm like, awesome. What's the web address? Love to check it out because I'm a digital marketer because we're sitting next to each other. Maybe I'll give you some tips. I pull it up. First thing, like, hey, well, when people call in, do they just call in for the information to validate and maybe get a price or try to find out more about you before they book with you? And they'll probably say, yeah, most likely that's the case. I was like, I don't like how come you don't have a way to talk to the website with AI like a lot of other dentists are doing now? What would somebody that has no idea what I'm talking about say back to that question? I'll let
I
you.
don't know.
I don't know. What do you mean? And then guess what I get to do? I get to pull up my web widget. And then I can say, hey, I'm here with Dr. K. He has an incredible dental practice in Studio City, California. I'm sitting on a plane or in the airport lounge with him, just chatting it up. I thought he doesn't have his website, a smart website yet. He has an ordinary one, which is fine. That's what everybody's doing these days. But he may be considering differentiating and engaging his visitors while at the same time giving the best first impression so it gives him the highest likelihood to be the chosen one over the hundreds or dozens of dentist practices in that 5 mile radius of his building. Could we add you to his website too? Right, so that's how ad hoc and simple you can kind of open the eyes, the ears. And obviously if we're talking to a dentist in a certain zip code like Studio City, they're probably doing a couple $1 million a year to be around. So they have the money, they have the revenue. So the ideal client is the right client. Now, if somebody said, I own a liquor store and we're 3 months away from not making rent, I'm like, man, that's a tough life. And then I put my headphones back in because I don't help there. All right, so pick your ideal customer profile. Unless you're a rescue person, then you help everybody. Right. So that's kind of where the beauty is of being in business for as an agency or a side hustle or whatever. Once we identify who is our market, define it down a little bit so we have our ideal client profile, then it makes sense to now price out and make our offers, our core offer, maybe a one higher offer and maybe a downsell offer. And then you're all set. Last Saturday, I believe it was, the key word, I don't know if anybody remembers or who was there, but I just said consistency, right? You own your own business. Do what's best. You know if you fucked off or if you did your best. Set goals. Like if your goal is I want to make, let's say, I'm just going to use cold calling because that came up in the comments earlier. My goal is to make 50 cold calls, what's your minimum? Pick a minimum, 40, and then what's the like lengthier goal? Is it 60? So now we have a 40 to 60 range. Just commit to yourself to do that in that day, in that time in the space, and block it out so you can kind of refine your pitch, get to know your audience even better. And it's always best if you're cold calling to start in a niche, just so you can get to know all how they're going to hang up on you, when they are, what captures their attention, what doesn't, what are the pain points of the industry, is there a gatekeeper or is it direct to owner, is the owner only available on 4 p.m. I'm sorry, on Thursdays at 4 to 6? Like a lot of dentists have like Thursdays or Wednesdays blocked out from lunchtime onwards to do admin and office and marketing calls and all that stuff. So you kind of got to just get to know the audience. And that's the value in the niche, is you end up getting to know them better than they know themselves in that industry, so you can grow it. And then some of you guys might be like Kofi's door knocking. Then we come up with a different strategy to be, the product is the niche, and now we have to productize our pricing down a little bit. And as we're door knocking, we may skip a couple doors because they're not relevant, like the liquor store. They may not see some value in this because they have such low ticket purchases, from bubble gum to beer, like 12 packs and whatnot. So anyways, if you guys have any questions around sales, you can
All right,
ask.
wait. Before we jump into Q&A, I can't leave these things without building something for you guys. You want to see something?
Now we're going to move over to Cody, and he's going to actually, let's ask you, you guys want to see him build something live in front of your faces in the Thinker platform to see how simple it is? And it's going to be for what industry? Are we going roofing today, Cody?
Yeah, let's stick with home services. I want to build a couple of things, right? We've had a client recently that used nothing but a receptionist, right? And got $150,000 in new cash collected for a roofing company. And so that kind of value, I mean, you could charge thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars to a company like that. This was just an AI receptionist that was able to do that, just off of what we're always telling you guys, which is stopping the bleeding, making sure the missed calls that aren't happening or that are happening every single day with these companies didn't happen anymore. Just having that contact point, just having that thing set up allowed them to clear that much extra revenue, right? When you can do that kind of value, the selling part becomes a lot easier, because what is price, right? Price is a made up metric. It's based around what you can actually validate. A lot of people use competition to validate that. Well, other people are charging this, et cetera, right? But what if instead of having to use that, you use the actual value, the actual outcome, the actual revenue that it will produce as the validation? Right? It becomes a lot easier, right? So when you see stories like that, so what I want to do is build that same kind of a thing. And we've got a couple of cool little twists we can do to it that I'm going to show you. And then I'm going to quickly build an outbound too, because what are the two biggest areas, right, that most of these companies don't have? One, enough people to pick up the damn phones. And two, salespeople to go after their leads in a timely manner, right? Those are going to be your two biggest value points with any company, but especially home services, roofers, that kind of stuff like Rahul's talking about right now. So I'm going to show you this roofer example that we built out for a different company with Mohan and the rest of us doing this before. Right? And a couple of different things, right, that happen here. How do you build this inside the platform? So let's do this. Over here, it's a receptionist, it's a web widgets, whatever. All right, so let's go here. We're going to call this roofer example so that I can delete it later. Right? And we pick, either go with Brian or go with Marissa or whatever other language, accent, all this kind of stuff that you might want. We come over here and we've got the typical stuff. So what are we going to do? All right, so greeting. I've already made this on a doc so that we didn't have to type it out live, but thank you for calling this roofer. My name is whatever you want to name the assistant, the team's virtual assistant. How can I help you? We usually stick pretty closely to that, right? We've got names here. Let's go with one name instead of two. Representative title can be, let's leave it at both. That's fine. And we'll call the roofing company this. Okay. Now, information to gather. If you haven't seen the new stuff, right? Now you can do this to make it bigger. We've got all these different text alterations you can do to make it so that you can actually pay more attention to it. Most of this stuff like bold, underline, all this is more for you to organize it and visualize it better, or your client to be able to do that. Come over here and you see a few different things, okay? Information to gather. We're telling it to follow this sequence. Always doing this. Why is this capitalized? Anybody tell me what the effect of capitalization has to do on things when we're telling AI stuff in the comments? Anybody know? Prioritizing it. Yep, correct, Linda. So as long as you're not overdoing it inside of your prompts, normally when you capitalize something, AI will take whatever you capitalize just a little bit more to heart. It'll pay just a tiny bit more attention to it. Now, something that we've introduced recently with a lot of these different things that you guys might not know is the if-then stuff inside of the information to gather area. And this is because sometimes when people are calling, they're going to be different types of people. And so therefore you may want it to do different things. So in this situation, it's if the caller asks to book an appointment, for an estimate or inspection, we say these things, but we're also asking, right? Have you worked with us before? If they're an existing client, we want to say, and if they're a new client, we want to continue to hear. Right, so we're giving it kind of a roadmap to follow. Another situation in which this comes up is, for instance, I'm setting up an inbound caller right now for a custom build from one of our GSD students. And it is an inbound number that will be used both in a campaign area for people to just test things on, but also as a response number for a database reactivation campaign. So one of the first things that it's saying is if this person is responding to that message, then go ask these qualifying questions. If this person is not responding to this message, ask a different set of qualifying questions. Is that making sense, guys? What I'm saying, like how you could use the if this situation inside the information to gather, it allows you to add a little bit more customizability, right? To be able to direct different things. So like in this situation, I think makes a lot of sense. Are they a customer, right? So you could even say at the very beginning, instead of having it in one of the qualifying questions, you could say, right, this says what that is. And when they start talking, the introduction text could be asking them if they're a customer. Or you could say, ask qualifying questions, blah, blah, blah. But first, the very first thing you should do is ask, have you worked with this company before or not? There will be certain situations, right, in which you want to treat current customers differently. You might not need to even ask current customers qualification questions, right? They might be there for support. They might be there to buy something new, et cetera, et cetera. Cool. So we take all these things, right? And we're going to put it into the information to gather section. Now, for me, guys, the information to gather section on these AI receptionists, this is where most of the heavy lifting is done. Okay. Now, when I'm doing stuff like this, where I'm spacing it all out, the AI doesn't give a shit, but I'm doing it so that I can actually understand what's going on, right? So that we can go through this. So this one's pretty complex, right? We're asking qualification questions. We're doing all this stuff. We're saying you can only book an appointment after asking the qualification questions. Do not skip, right? I usually also want to put stuff in like ask qualification questions one at a time, pause for a response before asking the next question, always, right? So we put that in there. And you can also say that down here. So where is it? Here's the actual qualification questions here, right? One at a time, reminder to ask these one at a time and pause for a response before asking the next question, right? So what kind of roof do you have? Where's the property located, etc. You can also put in booking criteria. So you can proceed to schedule if the caller confirms they are doing this, they have it within the service region, etc. All of that information, you'll note, is down here. Oh, let me let somebody in. So in the key information section, and we'll get into some of this stuff in a second. So you're going to say, they are ready to move forward. And all of this is in here, right? The questions, are you ready to move forward? All that kind of stuff. Decision maker is available. All right. Thanks so much for sharing all of that. This is what you want to say if they don't meet the criteria. So we have an exit statement. Before finalizing, we want to confirm all of these different things. So there was lots and lots and lots of this specific roofer wants, right? And you're going to run into clients like this that want to make sure of a whole bunch of specific criteria. That is going to usually be in the information to gather section, right? So you can see like last week when we made all this stuff, the one that I made was simple, powerful, ready to go. But you're always going to run into, and I've done this dozens of times now, different clients with different things that they're going to ask. Now, our job as marketers and builders is to sometimes push back on some of that stuff, but right, we're still going to have to do stuff sometimes. So if they're absolutely adamant that they want to have booking criteria, if they're absolutely adamant that they want to have an if-then scenario, if they're absolutely adamant that we need to do confirmations on it, right? We can do all of that stuff by laying this out, right? And we can gently say, you know, they don't fit their criteria and be able to move on. Now, key information area, or actually, I did not copy all this stuff yet. Hold on, missed some of this stuff. So payment policies, emergency repairs, you can see all of these things, right? So this is actually a good one right here. If the caller mentions emergency repairs, okay? So this is another if statement that you can add into these kind of things. I'm usually pretty against all this complexity, but I think we've built a few of these lately. So I think it's worth kind of showing you guys a little bit more of these more complex build parts. And one of them comes down to these types of things again, right? Where if somebody mentions something, talk about this, give these details. You can even put objection handling, you can put, you know, different kind of pitches, all this kind of stuff. But if the caller is mentioning emergency repairs, we have a specific set of things going on. Escalate, scheduling same day, if not, blah, 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 right? So all of these types of things are in here to make this happen. But you're going to run into certain situations with certain clients that want to have stuff like this. Like, hey, we have a specific thing for emergency. We have a specific thing for this type of product. We have a specific situation where like 10% of our clients are going to be asking about this. So we want to know, like, if they bring it up, we want to have a specific set of information that we go after and we tell them. So you can put it in that way. Down here, key information. Good thing here to have for key information is exactly how we have this bulleted out here. And I'll explain this in just a sec. So right here, you've got services that we do offer, services that are not offered. Pretty straightforward, right? But it's good for the bot to know that. Oftentimes we'll put in things like FAQs here, we'll put in objection handling here, we'll put in Q&A responses. So not necessarily normal FAQs, but direct things that are being built upon from other places, right? But a lot of things just comes down to taking this through. Now, you can take ChatGPT and scan a website and be like, hey, make me some key information. I also recently had and I'll show you this, a client that was doing a build with us that basically, let's see if it was this one here. Okay, yeah. So all they had was a bunch of learning information from training modules and also scripts that their sales team had worked on with objection handling and all of that. So I basically took it to ChatGPT and said, look, I need common FAQs, key information, and objection handling for the company. All they had was this stuff. Can you extract the information and format the documents from these documents that I've sent? And they sent key information, right? So that what they offer from this, what that offer includes, credit information, FAQs they found from the different scripts and stuff they had, objection handling for what they had. And this was a merchant services company, right? So then I'm able to take that from all of their company documentation, format it through something like ChatGPT, and be able to then plug it into key information. Super, super helpful and relevant. You're going to run into lots of companies just like that as you go that are like, I don't know what to put here, but I have all this company information. It's super easy to just take whatever they give you, prompt it like that through ChatGPT and spit it out in a format that makes sense. And then you've got this. Okay. So you've got that ready. And then the last part there is primary goal, always pretty easy, right? Add a few different instructions here to put it in. And then there you go. All right. And so specifically now, this has a pretty complex thing with if statements, then statements, and it's still, at the end of the day, a AI receptionist. So we'll call this roofers.com, doesn't matter. And let me do this so I can point this camera down. There we go. And share sound and test. So we can test it.
Thank you for calling Skyline Roofing. My name is Sally, the team's virtual assistant. How may I assist you today?
Hi, yeah, I've got an emergency and I'm looking for some help. My roof is leaking. I need help. Help!
Thank you for letting me know. I'm so sorry to hear about the leak. Let's get some details so we can prioritize this for you. First, is the leak active right now, or was it something you noticed earlier?
Yeah, no, it's definitely active. It's literally dripping on my face as I'm talking to you right now.
I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. It sounds urgent. Has the roof been temporarily covered or secured in any way to stop the water from coming in?
Nope, it's leaking on my face. Could help.
Thank you for sharing that. I understand how urgent this is. Let me ask just a couple more quick questions to ensure we can assist you properly. Do you currently have any interior damage like water spots or ceiling stains from the leak?
I do.
Thank you for letting me know. One last question. Will this be an insurance-related claim or will it be self-paid?
Insurance.
Got it. Thank you for sharing that. Since this is an active leak with interior damage, we'll prioritize this as an urgent issue. I'll make sure Jason Hill or someone from the team gets back to you as soon as possible. Could you please provide your name, phone number, and the property address so we can get this escalated right away?
Yeah. So, right, and I did that just to show you guys. All right, we go to the mentions an emergency, right? Has the roof been covered? Do you have any spots? Is this an insurance claim? And then flag it for same day booking and tell them that that's what you're doing, right? So I mentioned an emergency and it transitioned to that part of the thing. So, we've done these before where I've shown you guys the testing and all that stuff for a typical one, but I wanted to show you guys what it kind of looked like if you did this to make it a little bit more complex. This kind of stuff makes it a little bit more flexible for what you guys are doing. The second one, right, that we're always talking about is outbound salesperson. So we got the inbound going. Okay. Then we want to do this, right? The outbound. So let's do this one like this, a qualification scheduler. So we'll call this one roofer example. Okay. So this is an outbound caller to whatever you would normally be doing for your roof. So this would be probably an offer, something like, get a roof for free for the first 12 months, get a roof for 0% down, financing, blah, 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 et cetera, right? Whatever the offer is going to be. And so now what do we need to do is to put that into place. So we got the greeting. Hi, I'm a virtual assistant calling on behalf of this, for this, et cetera. That's always fine. It's usually the intro that we want to rock with for this. So, hi, this is, let's call it calling on behalf let's go here actually. Go virtual assistant calling on behalf of your roofing company. You recently opted in. You recently reached out to us in order to get your roof repaired. We had a live offer for doing it 100% free for 12 months. Is now a good time for a quick chat. All right, so we've got that in there. Let's do this. Then we go down, we'll call it 4 Guys Roofing. We're going to be roofers, obviously. Representative's name is not going to be mine because I'm usually the test caller, so we'll call it Greg. Reason for the appointment is to book a time for our team to come and repair your roof and claim your 12 months free, something like that. Question 1. So with this one, right, qualification questions. You guys hearing me? Am I coming in loud and clear? I just got some warning from Zoom. Am I good? Yeah? Okay. Cool. All right. So qualification questions when we're doing this kind of an outreach, right? Normally, the last time I built was a standard scheduler. What does that mean? It means book everybody. Just talk to them. If they want to book, book. Qualification scheduler means, okay, maybe I want to not book everybody, So we're going to decide. You can see list questions to determine if the prospect is a good fit. There are 2 types of questions, qualification and data capture. Qualification. Oh, I'm hearing reverb. There we go. Disqualification questions is literally that. If they answer a certain way that we don't like, we want to disqualify them. Okay. If it's a capture question, it means I don't care what they say, just capture it. But I do want to record their answers, et cetera, on that point. Okay. So we're going to say first is going to be a capture question. What is the address for your property? This is blank because it's a capture question. Okay. Question 2, we'll make a disqualification question. Do you have insurance on do you have home insurance? Home insurance, right? And so answer. The answer is enter the answer that disqualifies the question, the contact. Okay. So if they say, no, I do not have home insurance, it disqualifies them and you can't go forward. Okay. Key information. We service the Vancouver, we'll just call it Greater Vancouver area. After the first 12 months, payments will begin. Objection handling. You can put whatever you want in here, but let's put something along the lines of if the client says they want to do this but don't have insurance, what would be a common objection? Rahul, are you there or not? Give me some objection handling stuff if you're there. Let's just say if they say they need to think about it, tell them this deal is only active for the next 7 days, right? So you can list out, obviously I'm just putting a test one here for you guys, but you can list out as many objections and stuff as they would get and put them in there. Put it to a calendar, call it a day, right? So you can put as many questions, by the way, as you want. So if they want to have a whole bunch, you do it. Now, from a sales perspective, from a marketing perspective, my answer to that is always put as few as you need. Only put qualification questions that are actually going to help the sales process, not necessarily to put a whole bunch of friction in between you and them, because it's just going to book less calls and at the end of the day have a negative effect, right, on your overall objective, which is to book a bunch of calls and make a bunch of money. So let's test it.
Hello, this is Marissa. Am I speaking with Cody?
Yes, you are.
Great. Hi, Cody. I'm Marissa, a virtual assistant calling on behalf of Greg from Four Guys Roofing. You recently reached out to us about getting your roof repaired, and we have an exciting offer to do it 100% free for 12 months. I'd like to book a time for our team to come and repair your roof and help you claim this offer. Before we proceed, I have a couple of quick questions to ensure we can best assist you. Is that okay?
Sure. Sorry, what is this about again? You said a lot of stuff there.
No problem, Cody. Let me simplify it. I'm calling on behalf of Greg from Four Guys Roofing. You reached out to us about getting your roof repaired, and we have an offer where you can get it done with 12 months free. I'd like to book a time for our team to come out and help you with this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty good to me.
Great to hear that, Cody. Before we schedule a time, I just have a couple of quick questions to make sure we can assist you properly. Is that okay?
Sure. I mean, it's 12 months free. What happens after that?
Good question, Cody. After the 12 months free, any ongoing costs would depend on the specific terms of your agreement and the services provided. Greg can go over all the details with you during the appointment to make sure everything is clear. Does that sound good?
Sure. Yeah, let's book in with Greg.
Perfect, Cody. Let's find a time that works best for you. What day and time would you prefer for the appointment?
As soon as possible.
It seems I'm unable to check the availability at the moment. Let me try again to find the earliest possible time for you. I'm currently unable to check Greg's availability, but I'll make sure he follows up with you directly to schedule the appointment. Thank you for your time, Cody, and have a great day.
I tripped it out because I started asking it questions and then it couldn't actually get connected to the calendar. So they didn't have a chance to circle back to the questions, but let's do it again and I'll not do that and I'll let it ask its questions.
Hello, this is Marissa. Am I speaking with Cody?
Yes, you are.
Hi, Cody. I'm Marissa, a virtual assistant calling on behalf of Greg from Four Guys Roofing. You recently reached out to us about getting your roof repaired, and we have a live offer for doing it 100% free for 12 months. Is this a good time for a quick chat?
If it's really quick, yep.
Great. I'm calling to explore the possibility of booking a time for our team to come and repair your roof and claim your 12 months free. Before we proceed, I have a couple of quick questions to ensure we can best assist you. Is that okay?
Sure.
Thank you. First, could you please confirm the address for your property?
Yeah, it's 123 Fake Street, Fake City, USA.
Thank you for sharing that. Next, do you currently have home insurance?
No.
I appreciate your honesty. Based on your response, I regret to inform you that we may not be the best fit for your current needs, as home insurance is typically required for this offer. However, we'd be happy to keep your information on file in case your situation changes. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
So you can see disqualified, right? Once it gets to the questions, if I don't trip it out, but yeah. Because it would have asked the questions after that, but these test scenarios are connected to calendars that aren't working. So that was why that happened the first time. But you put it in, you put the answer that would disqualify them, and then it can disqualify them, or you put it in and the capture can happen there. Super valuable, right? For roofers and anybody else of that situation. It's making a lot of sense, guys, right? Both of those two things I just made, that AI receptionist for a roofer, that Outbound right there, that's making people money, right? That exact type of an AI receptionist, like I said, is the one that one of our students used for their client that earned, I think, 150, I don't know the exact number, so we'll just say over 150 grand and about 19 deals, right? Like I said, and that's just from calls that they confirmed they would have missed. There was nothing in place for that. This other system that I just showed you is operating across, 100 plus different home service companies, a lot of them roofers right now, following up with leads. These people, these types of clients usually do not like salespeople. They do not hire salespeople. At most, they'll usually have like some internal staff and maybe a human receptionist or assistant or something who is probably not following up with leads correctly, definitely not doing sales follow-up, all that stuff. So these are just huge bleeding holes inside of their systems. This allows them to have a way to go fix that. This allows them to have something that can basically be a money printer for those types of systems. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense, guys. We'll move into the Q&A section now. Go ahead, Kathy.
I see that you guys it's very intricate, the back end of Thinker. My question is, how do you explain to a client? Because sometimes clients want over the top stuff, right? And then you put together the system and then they complain because the system's not doing what it's supposed to do. How do you deal with that kind of situation with the client?
Well, that sounds like a expectations problem, right? The system does what it does, and the system is made to be powerful but simple to use, right? So if you're setting the expectations that it can do something that it can't do, that's going to lead to that problem, right? And if a client is coming in and asking for a million different things, that's probably because they're not having somebody hold their hand and simplify it for them, right? There's a lot of stuff that this system can do. And there's a lot of stuff that anybody could be like, I wish it could do this. I wish it could do that. The first thing that you got to do, though, is simplify and plug it in to solve the real problem. The biggest problems that they have, 9 times out of 10, is there's nobody answering the phone and there's nobody following up with the leads. So fix problem A, right? And then create a different situation. So an example of this to me is I've done a few custom builds lately where I will let the person talk and talk and talk, and then I will explain to them, cool. Here's, based on everything you just said, there's 2 things that are going to happen. There's the actual product we're going to do right now, and then there's going to be a wish list I'm going to build you for what we're going to look into and see if we can accomplish. Here's what we for sure, this is definitely, we do this right now, I'll have this done, let's go. Plug this in. That way we can get excited, we can go see wins, you can pay for this, you know what you're getting. And then number 2, right, is going to be a wish list that I'm going to look into for you, right? Because there's a lot of stuff like I showed you today. If this happens, do this. If that happens, do that. There's also like different automations you can use in GHL. There's different ways to plug AI into things. There's different things like Zapier and Make.com and all this shit that you could do stuff with, right? You can maybe get there, but you don't want to make promises on that. So you build it out as a, yes, we'll do this. And then B, we'll create a wish list for you. And that way we can all kind of move together in the right direction. But it is about understanding what it is able to do and not overselling stuff, right? Sell what it does and then create wish lists for later on.
Okay.
Does that make sense though?
Yes. And also, I know Raul demos the inbound calling, but how do you demo the outbound? Is it simple as telling them call this number?
Calling a number wouldn't be outbound. If you want to call every single person,
You're right. It's not.
Yeah.
Sorry. Long day.
Every single person here who has Thinker has access to the V3 snapshot that has the outbound demo funnel in it. That's how we demo outbound.
Okay.
That's just a page and they fill it out and they select it. And literally all it is, right? Like if I go to the V3, here, I'll go to the V3 snapshot here on my computer screen. All right. So if GHL has been super slow for me, oh, nice, cool. So you get the funnel. It's this funnel, right? When you do the snapshot, it's just this very, very, very simple funnel. They do all this and they pick a use case and then they submit the form and then that calls them, right? It calls whatever number they put here. Now, how does that work? Easily enough. You just go to the automations, right? You go to the demos, you go to demo form automation, and the actual automation on the back for the demo form is pretty simple. It's just, okay, the form that I just showed you was submitted. Then there's a condition, which is just the custom field that is that selector, right? For what they selected is, and it just which one of those, each one of those selections is a different branch, and each one of those different branch has its own custom dynamic outbound call that's programmed to be for that demo. That's it. So you can even make other ones and add it to that form and customize the demos and all that stuff based on that process.
Is that a demo that we put together, or is that a demo that's already been pre-made by you guys?
Oh, it's in the V3 snapshot. Anybody who has a Thinker account, you can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to the Thinker, Kathy, go to the Thinker community, click on learning and look for V3 snapshot. You can't miss it. It's right there. Click it, you can download it, import it, and then you customize it however you feel like.
Okay, thank you all.
Yeah, so that's the outbound. And then obviously the web widget is just the computer, right? The S and the iOS. And then the I is, if you want the inbound, like you guys have probably all seen this right here. I'm just going to drop my text message. That's my inbound. So this is just a pure demo. It's just to put some ear candy in the ears of my prospects so that they can play with it, talk to it, and be like, holy shit, how does it know all that? I wish that was mine. Can I marry it? Right? So we get them to fall in love with it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, more importantly than new toys and trinkets and Google Docs and this and that, which is great to have, is now the practice of execution, right? Because the world is not perfect, right? Turn on any news channel, there's another bomb probably attacked somewhere in some country, right? So the world sucks. But we can control what we can control right now. It's our ability to go talk to our prospects and offer things to them or get their feedback, to use that as the angle to then get them to engage with us and buy. Right? Because we'll think of it this way. You don't need more friends. You need more clients because they become your friends. So just keep focused that when you're talking to a prospect, stay on target with what you do, how you help, what this is. Don't get off track into the friend zone. Stay in the business zone because that's the context of the customer. Once they become your client, you're going to have very intimate conversations and relationships where then you become friends, right? That's how business becomes fun. Close people to do business with you. You win, they win, everybody wins. And then you get to know each other way more intimately because they're your client. You're going to presumably talk a little bit more often, maybe even more often than mom and dad.
Quick question on the reception. If they have different people have different titles, and if we could set up what the reasoning, what each of the duties each have. Like, I give an example over here for a loan. They're looking for someone to be able to offer financing. Then they have to speak to someone. Or if they're calling about their loan, they have to speak to an underwriter. How do you set up the what if?
Well, I mean, that doesn't even have to be an if thing, right? That was just like, because you set up if I go to any inbound caller or any of these receptionists or anything, right?
Yeah.
Underneath the actions tab here, bookings or call transfers or whatever, you could create like, okay, if they want to do XYZ service, specifically live if they ask to do this service, like live transfer to this number, right?
Okay.
To this number. And you can set this up to be right. So in the roofer sense, just talk about the roofer sense, normally what we do is like if it's an emergency and they need help right now, live transfer, you are authorized to live transfer to this number and you say this, right? If it's a roof repair job, book with this call. If it's an inspection, if they ask for an inspection, book with this calendar, etc.
You have different calendars as well. Okay.
Yeah.
You can also use that, I guess, for skill sets. Let's say someone's for HVAC, they only do tankless, then they can book for tankless.
Right. You just put different keywords, trigger different, you would different calendars type of thing that way. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Anybody else got questions? Stuff they want to go over for this topic or any others right now? Go ahead, Linda.
Along that same line of having that AI widget is not able to take transfer calls, right? So does Ava know if you're talking to somebody on the widget, will the widget actually suggest if they want to talk to somebody else to access it a different way because they can't transfer the call?
Well, they can book. So the web widget can't transfer calls, right? It says it. That's
Right.
what warning up here on the top is, but it can book calls. So it'll follow the rules for the calendars and the multiple calendars and stuff. It just won't follow the rules for the live transfer if it's a web widget. Yeah. The receptionist can do both.
Yes.
Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Perfect. Cool. Anybody else? Questions?
Question on the receptionist. The receptionist you can't embed as a web widget though, right?
Yeah, that's literally the same thing. So if I go to
Sorry.
Go to here. Yeah, no problem. Basically, when you set it up, right here, when I click a new inbound agent, you pick only on the phone, only as a web widget, or that you use the same one for both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes, and in that situation, can she transfer calls?
So if I picked this one here, I can set the rules up however I want, but only the phone will be able to transfer calls. It still doesn't let the web widget just cannot do live transfers yet.
Okay, got it. Makes sense.
Cool. Anything else?
Yeah, Cody, I just want to confirm something on the if then. If the outbound agent does call a business and it's asking to speak with the owner, but it gets the receptionist, will it be able to differentiate? Okay, if it's not the owner, that it can ask to speak with the owner.
So the if things I was showing you is on the inbound receptionist, not the outbound.
Okay.
Yeah, the outbound is just set to a specific thing. Now there is outbound scenarios in which you can give it further instructions, that kind of stuff, right? So even on here, let me show you this real quick. If it loads. Right, so like even here, right, on the one I was just building, so this was the qualification schedule, you have a section here for objection handling and key information. Okay, so what I would be doing is the objection would be like if they say they're not the decision maker, or if they're not the owner, or if they're blah blah blah, right? So you could even put the question like, are you the decision maker or not, right? Because it's an outbound caller. Like, are you the homeowner, or are you like or do you know the homeowner, right? If they're not the homeowner, or if they say they're not the homeowner, to question one, say this thing and be like, okay, can you please, is the homeowner nearby? Can you pass them the phone, or can we book a call? Can we book this call, the next one, the follow-up directly with the homeowner? Because they need to be the ones that make the decision, etc. Right? So you can do it that way.
Perfect. Thank you.
Of course. Happy to help.
Thank you so much for spending the time to watch that amazing training. Like I mentioned previously, my intention is for you not just to watch that training, but if you got something out of it, if you think this information is useful, I want you to continue that journey with us. And you can do that in a couple of ways. One, I want you to smash that subscribe button so that you get notified every single time we put another one of these out, which will be at minimum once to twice per week. The other thing I want you to do is go ahead and click that next video right there beside you so that you can dive in and get shit done. Hope to see you out there.